Round 2 has concluded, which means round 2 is ready to begin.
Round 2 is concluded, so round 2 is ready to begin.
Round 3. Sorry, I sat here for so
You prepped all
long.
that, and then you said round 2, round 2.
I was here 3 minutes before we started, you know? And then you come in here late, and then we go.
Round 2.
So round 2 ready to start, yep.
Yep, it's going to be Most Wanted versus eLevate, I guess you were going to say as well.
Yes, definitely. Looking at the schedule, eLevate versus Most Wanted standings. A little further off, looking at 13 points for Most Wanted and 7 points for eLevate. Looking at the bottom of the pack right now,
well,
close.
the best news for eLevate, though, they have split consistently. They're not finding wins that they want to, but they're not really losing either. They've got 1 win, 1 loss, 4 splits so far. So it's not all doom and gloom for them. They're showing that they can take games off people. They're just going to make it consistent now.
Exactly. And I mean, we've seen a little bit of consistency coming out of eLevate, but a lot coming out from Most Wanted, sitting at the top of the pack. We don't really see them split a lot, but last week we saw them split against SOAR in week 4.
It's true, and if they can continue doing what they did against SOAR in this next set up against Most Wanted, they have a real opportunity here. Most Wanted, though, different story for them. I feel like they should be top of the tables right now. They were as good for that. Obviously, they won the last LAN we had as well. But in this game, predominantly, they have to find wins here. They can't drop games.
Exactly. And before I say anything else incorrect, we're going to go ahead and jump into picks and bans for round 3. Game 1.
Hey.
Most Wanted versus eLevate.
It's not a round either, is it? It's a match.
It's a set.
So, say set.
Okay, set.
It's not a round, is it?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really... It's
We're going round?
Same meaning.
Maybe. Maybe to you. eLevate will be first pick, first ban this time around, though. I expect to see Ao Kwong, maybe Guan Yu banned out here. A lot of focus on Zeus from both teams here. And I would like to see a Zeus ban from eLevate just because we want to see Clow on something that he's not as dominant on. And when you do that, you can start to follow him a little bit.
Clow really likes his Zeus. No surprise that eLevate going to go and be the first ban out. Nemesis banned out for Most Wanted. Vulcan wins eLevate's games. Truancii,
really?
Yes, Truancii on that Vulcan wins games. So don't let him get Vulcan either.
Or at the same time, pick something that can deal with Vulcan very well. That's the other option you've got for yourself. Vulcan, not the most mobile. He gets overlooked as being mobile, but he kind of is in one way because the backfire and the meatball creates so much space for him to be able to get away from those ganks, and that long-range ultimate really can come in handy. You just don't see so many of them confirmed, but you called it.
I do what I can. I'm learning from the best.
Look at you.
But Vulcan first locked in
first
for...
pick, right?
First locked in for eLevate here, but in retaliation, Ravana picked up for Most Wanted.
Yeah, not real surprised to see Wolves pick up Ravana very early on. He likes dominant solo laners, likes to put pressure on early and then try and feed that into the mid-late game stages of this team. And then Most Wanted as well. Going to draft Guan Yu, which I'm not surprised with here either. Guan Yu very dominant, can jungle, but we won't probably see him there. I expect to see him in the support role here for Koiz.
Where has Fafnir been?
Fafnir seems to have dropped for some reason. I don't know exactly why. Like, we saw him a lot of times with the Freyas and the Kronoses, but just lately people have started to move away from the young dwarf, and there's nothing wrong with him whatsoever. Maybe they just feel, you know, extra sustain is what they want, or engage.
And that's why Terra always gets banned out, because she brings so much sustain to the table, but Most Wanted have a little bit of a chip on their sleeve because they picked up that Guan Yu. Sustained for days. Add that in with the Soul, gonna be nasty.
And Soul can go into the dual lane, but can also go mid lane as well. We could actually see Clow run that in the mid lane if he wants something a little bit safer there. It's not something we've seen Clow run too much, but he could run it if he wants to.
If he wanted to, but Jingwei banned out for Most Wanted. Don't want to have any wombo combos with whatever they want to put in the Guardian role. They haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, Terra's banned out anyway, so Jingwei Terra's the natural combo, but Jingwei so good to be able to take trades and then recall to base and get back for the next wave over and over again. You end up winning the lane because of the fact that you can keep recalling, having a poke war, even lose the poke war, but then still recall and still be ahead.
Definitely. Cupid banned out for eLevate. Kronos banned out for Most Wanted. Get rid of some of these big magical ADCs. So KeegsMate doesn't have anything to run rampant with.
Really interested to see where eLevate go with their last 2 picks here. Obviously, they need the dual lane. Most Wanted as well. I mean, they're looking for potentially a mid laner or a hunter to go alongside a jungler that they're still waiting on as well. Thor is available, and Thor's not a bad all-round pick, especially with Ratatoska being taken out.
And Rat is a really big pick for Most Wanted. They like their Ravana and they like their Rat. Whenever they were able to go ahead and pick their Ravana early on, Rat banned out by eLevate, so they did their homework.
Yeah, eLevate really has been doing the homework just lately, and Most Wanted actually going to go with the Batz instead, which I do like. They've got a lot of decent ultimates there. Vulcan struggles against the Batz Fear No Evil a lot of the times, and the Monkey Toss as well. Don't forget, the backfire we mentioned, you know, you can reposition yourself, but if you've been hit by the Monkey, you can still jump to it. And
Party Monkey begins at level 5, that big ultimate.
Round 5.
Did I say round 5?
No, I'm just putting it in your head now.
Do you see what I have to put up with?
It's your own fault.
It really is. Kumbhakarna locked in for eLevate and Neith as well. I love Kumbha bringing in the mezzes, he has so much CC. He doesn't bring as much damage as, say, a Sobek would.
Those mezzes are very, very strong, though, very consistent, especially against auto-attack gods like Sol, for example. Especially if Sol is in mid lane here, they're going to pick another Hunter here, most wanted. Kumbhakarna very good at shutting him down with that Yawn. Not only that, the attack speed slowing it as well. But Sol will be in the dual lane up against Guan Yu, and Kumbha, the Yawn, will stop Sol being able to get any attacks off, as well as cancel Tele Assault.
Definitely. Isis locked in for the mid lane, the last pick up for most wanted. And we're seeing a little bit more of a resurgence from Isis. Spirit Ball. Spirit Ball is a big thing.
Yeah,
Plus the ultimate.
Engage.
Plus the ultimate going to be able to help out. Going to be a built-in wrath for
And the ultimate's coming out
objectives.
from most wanted here. Very, very strong in the team fights. And obviously you've got Guan Yu that can engage Sol Supernova with decent damage. But mainly is the Guan Yu ultimate and the Fear No Evil. So the Isis ultimate and the Fear No Evil, they're going to combine very, very useful together for the side of most wanted. Good Gold Fury and Fire Giant secure for this team as well.
The Wombo combo is real when it comes to most wanted. But eLevate don't have a team comp to sniff at either. Truancii on that Vulcan. Plus, Jumpahhh really likes his Susano.
It's very true. I mean, if he can get going on the Susano, that's the big key here, is where he can really get going. The main focus for him probably is going to be onto Clow, and that's generally what a lot of teams do against Most Wanted here, is try and shut down Clow in the mid lane. But Most Wanted are kind of designed to deal with that.
Exactly. And my question to you, we normally see the gank opportunity coming out 2 minutes in for the dual lane. If you want to shut those guys down early on, do you think we're going to see that rotation from mid and jungle?
It could be possible. I mean, with Neith, Kumbhakarna, you do have a little bit of kill potential against Sol and the Guan Yu if you've got Susano coming in there as well. But the Disapparate available for Sol here, not going to be the easiest thing to pick off. As well as Meditation on the side of Koiz and the Guan Yu, not going to find the kill there. Across the way, though, it's Kumbhakarna Neith up against Batz. Batz early game pre-5 isn't the strongest unless he gets one of those lucky crits that are part of his passive. Going to be difficult to actually find a kill.
I love the speed camp boards. You're going to be able to see so much if you have that on the enemy side, able to see what they went ahead and picked up.
Yep.
If they want to do any weird kind of rotations, go from mid camps to a buff instead.
It also keeps an eye on if the fact that you don't see them at the start of the game, you know they could potentially be invading or doing some crazy option shenanigans for themselves. Cloud took a lot of free poke from that turret for no reason.
And Truancii, he knows exactly where to put those, and then using the backfire to get out of the range of the Spirit Ball. Just a great presence of mind on the character.
Yeah, the main gods that Vulcan loves to go against is the ones that can't clear the wave and hit your turret at the same time. Things like Poseidon, things like Vulcan can both clear the wave and hit your turret still. However, Isis has to choose, and in doing so, limits the amount of clear they've got.
Most wanted picking up those right mid harpies immediately after picking up those fire imps
really
as well.
Big. That's
Very
really
good.
big for themselves there. To get both of those and now have the left-hand harpies still available, they can still look to contest these, and you can see xCynosurex may even think about it if they want to, but took a little bit too long there with the overhand smash and the clear to really stop this clear going up.
It's going to be really deep if they try to go for it. Monkey's going to jump through. xCynosurex not going to chase and going to get a magma bomb.
Yeah, xCynosurex a little bit late on that one. I'm not sure why he continued to aggress there. eLevate came out on top there for the most part, although most wanted with the experience mid lane.
Coming through in the back line and forcing out the purification early on from Truancii. xCynosurex coming around the back, able to find that just free poke.
Free purification though as well, and that's down for the next 150 seconds now. Level 5 will be available for xCynosurex on the next gank attempt then, and that Fear No Evil will come into play, and Vulcan has to be very careful because of it.
And Vulcan's going to be a huge target because he doesn't have that purification down. He's not going to be able to get out of the CC from anyone.
Yep. That's completely true. And have the purification not available, he's going to have to stand in place and just eat it. Talk about eating it. Transonics taking a lot of poke.
Transonics might not be able to get out of here if he's not careful, trying to find their way. But KeegsMate throwing down the lifesteal very, very low on the back line.
This is a great work from KeegsMate. Then not only that, they forced a meditation on the side of Koiz there as well. So that being down, it could create a window of opportunity here to see Jumpahhh maybe look for an early gank on that left-hand side if he so chooses. But he seems to head back to base to finish off his boots first.
The good thing for Most Wanted in that situation is Conviction's going to be able to heal you right back up. Slowly but surely, keep at it, and Guan Yu's going to keep you in the game.
Takes a while though, but I do like what KeegsMate is doing there. He picked Neith into the Sol. He expected the Sol in this matchup as well. Neith is very good at stalemating a lane for the most part because of his sustain and the fact she can sit far back, clear the wave in pretty much one hit, and still make a global impact is one of the reasons Neith was so sought after for such a long time.
Most Wanted still putting the priority on these camps, taking the fire imps. Mid harpies are going to be up soon, so looks like they're going to be at least a good target for there. Fear No Evil coming through. Truancii forced into the wall, but the Typhoon from the backline going to be good. Teleporting right back to xCynosurex, pulling him back. Truancii nowhere near to try and take out the monkey.
Good little play from Jumpahhh there just to reinitiate again, but most importantly was the Typhoon that came out from him there to save Truancii all the pressure that was being placed onto him there from the Fear No Evil. That's eLevate recognizing the gank was going to come through after Purification being burnt, and Jumpahhh being on the mark with that Typhoon to make sure he kept his teammate alive.
No invades just yet. Both teams putting a lot of priority, especially Most Wanted, on these smaller objectives, the camps plus their own buffs.
But they all add up. If you can keep taking these general camps in the mid lane here, the contestable camps of the Fire Elementals and the mid Harpies, you get a small lead for yourselves. That little bit of experience, that little bit of gold will come in handy on finishing your items just a tad quicker, and even your relics when you look towards level 12.
I mean, especially in these quieter early games, we don't really see these big team fights. There's no cataclysmic deaths happening across the map, so every little bit counts in these slow burns.
But they've got a lot of this game is basically based around mid-game for these two teams, then developing later into the later stages of this game. So that's why you can see pretty much an opportunity window will be recognized, and they'll try it and nothing else.
Right, mid Harpies taken up by Most Wanted, and see they just go right back to their blue camp. The prioritization is there.
Yeah, left Harpy's being looked at as well now. As the blue buff is dropped by Most Wanted on the right-hand side. Everything's good for there. xCynosurex may look for a bit of pressure on the right, but with no Fear No Evil available, I say that, he's just got it back up actually. It's not the easiest thing in the world to gank a tier, however.
Not quite, especially with the displacement that he can bring in. It's not even his ultimate either. You see it now, he's just fearlessing everybody away, but Neith ultimate being channeled through onto xCynosurex is going to be a little while before it comes through, and nobody's nearby. Niqued not going to be able to take both of them out, especially with Wolves there.
I like the World Weaver coming out from Keegs there. It was a defensive ultimate more than anything else. Say, listen, if you're going to aggress, this World Weaver's going to connect, so you can take some poke from that too. Niqued needed a little bit of support on that side, but the rest of his team, meanwhile, as there's three on the right, and guess what they're doing? They're around the gold.
Yep, sniffing around, killing some wards, maybe even setting up a possible gank opportunity, a bait, if you will. Cloud coming around the corner, but can't get too close, instead wing gusting to avoid any kind of pull.
I like the idea from eLevate there, try and pressure the Gold Fury a little bit. They were worried because of the wall control that Most Wanted had. They knew they'd turn up, and against an Isis and a Batz and a Guan Yu, you don't want to try and force it down too quick. Mid lane though.
Gonna get a good pull onto Wolves, but the kick gonna get him out of jail. Jumpahhh gonna teleport right back to the Storm. Truancii in the backline. Nobody's nearby to throw it, and that Fear No Evil didn't connect with anyone.
Defensive one from xCynosurex there. Don't think he really needs to use that one overall, but he was worried about a reinitiation coming out from eLevate there, so thought best to just throw it down defensively. But Most Wanted now going to clear out wards around the Gold Fury and look to play passive, but I don't think eLevate want that to happen.
Very cautious coming out. Stellar Burst going to be good though. Overhand smash. Rippin Holes looking pretty low, and xCynosurex does not want to let this Kumbhakarna go, but he hasn't procced his passive yet, so they're going to have extra oomph to take him down.
Yeah, they're going to have to sit there and just bring him down a little bit more, but that meditate use allows eLevate to stay around this mid lane here. Don't give overall control of the Gold Fury to Most Wanted, and that's the most important thing. You've got to time your backs to make sure you're not all backing at the same time, and you need your whole team there to make sure you can contest it.
But in that process, they're losing mid camps, they're losing buffs because they're so worried about rotating back over to this fire, or over to the Gold Fury, and Most Wanted take advantage of that.
It is a possibility going forward. At the moment, though, they've not been able to steal anything in the jungle, just those, the mid Harpies that they contested between the two. Niqued on the right doing a good job of proxy farming to try and keep Wolves pinned in.
Good bit of damage coming out from Truancii onto Koiz. A little too far, gonna get that target from the turret as well.
Speed buff's coming up as well for both teams now, means the junglers both know that if they head to their speed buff, the team of the opposition could look for the gold themselves, but I think they're both just going to call it a stalemate and be like, okay, let's just get our speeds, boys. And it's a jungle, safe haven to go there and do that. And like, okay, guys, we both want them, let's go get them.
Rippin Holes was the one charged with that, just turning around the corner, making sure they rotated over to the right instead of trying to get anything sneaky over with the big objective, Gold Fury. Take a little bit of damage for his troubles, but nobody loses the big bird.
Yeah, Rippin's got to be a little bit careful with the amount of damage he's taking here. Kumbhakarna, obviously, he wants to be in amongst the action, but if he's already half health, he's not going to be as useful for his team going forward, and still hanging around here trying to soak experience could put a lot of pressure on him, and that's where they might be looking for.
There's the good Fear No Evil we were looking for earlier on, but the World Weaver still being channeled. xCynosurex jumping over the side, and then here comes the Lawbringer, not going to find the push, instead going to force a purification, but then Koiz coming through on the horse.
Messy fight between the two. Niqued's still in this fight there, but couldn't find the first because of the purification. An even bigger one earlier on. Rippin Holes finally gets his passive burn there by the rotation from Wolves. He will live Rippin Holes for the time being, thanks to the ultimate from Truancii, but Niqued is going to find the kill thanks to Truancii and xCynosurex.
Truancii popped the ultimate with the help of the two-man pull, but it wasn't enough to lock anybody down because Susano Susano was very close, but only hit one.
Yeah, biggest play during that was the big purifications that we used to defensively save themselves. XCynosurex himself, before he died to that last little engagement there, uses purification to absorb the Kumbhakarna ultimate, which would have spelled his death anyway. Don't forget, we don't mention this, but Kumbhakarna epic uppercut into Vulcan ultimate, one of the best secures in the game, one of the best setups in the game is a Kumbhakarna ultimate.
I mean, you know exactly where they're going to come down. You know how long it's going to take. They're going to do a little bit of damage if any of their team is nearby when they hit impact. And then you have whatever the rest of the team is going to just collapse on you.
Surprised by Rippin Holes here as well, going for this sort of build at the moment. Obviously going for a Breastplate of Valor. It's something that you can go through for cooldown reduction for a support, but you'd rather have a Sovereignty. It costs a little bit more, but it does allow you to give some extra defenses to your team as well, which can come in handy as this game goes on. And going for, you know, a personal build just to focus on yourself doesn't help the whole team as a whole. And that's generally what supports are looking to do.
Is that change, or is that because maybe the change coming out from the reinforced footwear? Gonna have a nice epic uppercut, two-man meds coming right on down, but XCynosurex gonna be able to jump on through. Neith ultimate being channeled, gonna hit, but it's in the depths of a camp.
Don't really like that call coming out there from Rippin Holes. Going aggressive once again. Obviously you saw Niqued there, had very low mana, didn't have anything to really follow up with, and Jumpahhh and him were both just slightly out of position to really follow up from that epic uppercut. Like the idea, but I don't think he had to do it. He could have just sat back and seen if purification would have been used if it was available, by just yawning.
Most Wanted want to fight, and eLevate know that, so they're trying to be the play starters instead of forcing themselves to be reactive to what Most Wanted are doing.
Well, eLevate with that first blood have given themselves a little bit of a gold lead at the start of this one, even though they lost most of the mid-Harpies contests as time has gone on. The Gold Fury standing though, that's where this game will really start to pick up pace, if anywhere, is this Gold Fury. Someone could develop a lead off getting that clean.
I mean, with all of this happening, eLevate taking that first blood, if Most Wanted take that Gold Fury, that's no. It's gone. It means absolutely nothing, because then Most Wanted are going to be right back where they started earlier on.
4-man split, that speed buff there. As Niqued returning to the solo lane again, Breastplate of Valor and reinforced group boots online. We see reinforced for pretty much everyone this game, only a couple of players. It's easier to count the players that don't have it than the ones that do.
Exactly. It's a big change to the meta and a big change of the survivability in the length of these fights. They last longer, so every button counts.
It impacts dots more than anything else. Damage over time effects, which will reapply it very, very quickly and allow you to just get the full stacks up before you even get into the full-on engagement.
Exactly. Truancii throwing down a turret, just a little bit of damage onto the Gold Fury, if anything. What is that for? You're not there to do anything.
What's that, the ward of the Gold Fury, you say?
No, he threw down a turret.
Near the Gold Fury, it's more of a vision control than anything else. It is a mobile ward. That's all a turret can be as game goes on. Generally, you don't max it second, but there's a fight in the jungle now, XCynosurex. Forced out again and forced to purify, more important.
And eLevate. Notice that, go ahead and back off. I mean, Wolves runs right by, but instead they just go ahead and don't decide to go in on it because he's a little too tanky. He's a Ravana right now. He's going to be big nuisance versus anything else.
Yeah, just a little bit out of range more than anything else there.
Yeah.
Everything's fine at the moment between these two teams, and they're just happy to, like I said, mid-game teams for both of them here. If they can get a lead and abuse it, they will do, but if not, they're going to hang on, wait for the mid-game where they both got power spikes that come online for them. I'm looking at Most Wanted, though, for the team fight aspect. I feel that team fight is a little bit stronger, easier to confirm than that of the side of eLevate. You're looking for Kumbhakarna ults into Vulcan ults if you're lucky enough, followed by tornadoes, you know? You're not going to be able to get the easy synergy as Most Wanted will by just pressing their ultimate and having things happen.
Speaking of ultimate, Rippin Holes using his to aggress onto this damage camp here, and he was the only one here for quite some time. Keegs rotating back over, but now he's got 4 members of Most Wanted to deal with. Niqued rotated all the way over to try and stop this.
It seems like eLevate are just saying, listen, Rippin, go in, use your ultimate, and he's using it just to see if people will follow up more often than not, you know? Just see what's going on with them. Make sure they can actually find a situation. Now, you mentioned that, you know, that sentry ward there, we saw how busy it kept Cloud for a few seconds there, not wanting to take too much damage, but aggression in both lanes.
Yep, XCynosurex trying to find KeegsMate using the ultimate, but the purification had already been burned as well. Transonics going to be able to get through the Typhoon, but it's not going to be enough for XCynosurex. Jumpahhh going to be able to take him and then dash out of dodge.
Still in the jungle though, Rippin Holes coming round, going to find the route there onto Transonics, and Transonics in a lot of pressure here. Walt looking for Disapparate, not going to find it. Lawbringer from Niqued's going to close the gap.
And Vulcan ultimate over the side, going to be a little bit of damage, but not lock anybody down. Instead, good route onto KeegsMate. Rippin Holes doing his best to just be obnoxious as well as Wolves, but you can't lock down the Ravana. It's way too easy to get out.
eLevate outplayed Most Wanted so hard there. Keegs' individual skill to root the Batz in place, making sure that he couldn't follow with any damage. Not only that, but then Jumpahhh goes into the fight. Instead of peeling for his Neith. He ignores Soul completely and goes straight for Batz, and that makes Transonics have to make a decision. Do I go defensive or offensive? Do I protect my teammate or go for the kill? In the end, he tries to defend his teammate and still doesn't save the life.
Good mez coming out from Rippin Holes. I liked the call, especially because it stopped Most Wanted from being aggressive on the Gold Fury. They find a kill, and the gold is still there on the map, ripe for the taking.
That's true. I mean, the Gold Fury is still available, and like we said, that's going to be the biggest talking point of this. The gold lead is about 1,600, as you can see on the screen. About exactly 1,600. But it's not enough to really, give them a big old snowball right now. What I do want to see is like maybe watch Most Wanted sit back a little bit and wait for eLevate to go aggressive. Every time Rippin Holes goes in with the ultimate, he's not getting punished on this Kumbhakarna. If they punish the Kumbhakarna and pick up a free kill there, it's a 4v5. Why not just keep doing that? Kumba's quite happy to go in, it seems, so just abuse it.
And I'm surprised this has been working so much. This is not the first time we've seen that invade on a buff or starting up on a fight. Even when the rest of his team isn't there, they're still catching up, and he's just going crazy.
Keegs is having a good game, though. You just saw that poke he just did against Transonics there. He actually won that trade absolutely monumentally. On top of that, got a little bit more sustain than the young, dead Transonics.
There he goes. Right there, Rippin Holes coming in with the hot rotation. The hot uppercut takes out Transonics, although that was mainly KeegsMate.
Yeah, it was all Keegs, and it was just like a lazy back from Transonics. They got punished, no war coverage to see it happening. And now in this 4v5, they can look to abuse this. Teleports are available for solo laners, though. Teleports
are available, but Transonics is not here, who is a huge damage dealer. But instead, it looks like eLevate going to go ahead and back off Koiz. Running in with the cavalry charge, Mystic Rush over the wall. KeegsMate, there's a Sanctuary being popped, but they're still not able to pump out enough damage. Keegs, however, looking very low, and Wolves trying to stick to him. Koiz probably going to be able to find him. The lifesteal going to be good, keeping him in the game. The backflip, plus xCynosurex popping in with the Fear No Evil.
That was Most Wanted, wanting KeegsMate more often than anything else there. They invested so much into him, but a very good Sanctuary from Keegs keeps him alive, and very good individual play. Meanwhile, Niqued dueling with Clow here. I don't think either one of them are going to die just yet.
No, he doesn't want to take that tower damage to the face. He already took a couple of shots, and the last thing you want to do, and especially be on camera with, is try to box with Clow, not get the kill, and then Clow get the credit.
But the best news that happened there, really, for the side of Most Wanted is the Gold Fury wasn't taken. It was stopped by eLevate, but eLevate still marching on now, wrapping around the back of xCynosurex.
Using everything that they can to try to lock down Wolves, now turning around, looking for Jumpahhh. xCynosurex already used his jump, so he can't follow up as much as he wanted, and instead, the fight's gonna head more towards the left side.
This is really good work coming out from eLevate, just keeping them busy, getting out of the fight when they can, but I say that, Keegs rotate around the left, and now he's alone, and he will be punished for that transgression. Vulcan ultimate hits too, but still, Most Wanted looking pretty good. I say that until Niqued gets that Fearless.
Nice Fearless, two-man, forcing out the Mystic Rush, looking for Truancii in the back line. They're gonna invest everything. Koiz hopping on the horse. Wolves gonna find credit for the kill, and now Rippin Holes may be a casualty of war.
Wolves is just so good, but so is Niqued, who picks up xCynosurex there as well. Transonics picks up the lazy Rippin Holes there from the passive, and the fight still goes on.
And Koiz manages to survive. He's in the back line, gonna be able to heal himself back up. Jumpahhh, however, trying to find Transonics with Niqued here as well. Take out this damage camp, if anything else.
Jumpahhh notices the lower mana though, but after that Still Abyss, I don't think he really wants to continue that. He's just trying to zone them away so he can pick up that red buff and not have it stolen.
Exactly, because you don't want to give Most Wanted any more fodder. eLevate, sitting nice and happy, a little bit of a lead, have a couple of kills up, but it's always been these little trade-offs. It's always been a 1-for-1, a 1-for-0, and that's what you want. But you don't want to give Most Wanted any more foothold.
Yep, it's only 1,000 gold lead though for eLevate right now. It's still not enough to really get an established lead. And like we said, the Gold Fury is a big important part, but both teams recognize that one as well. I'm surprised how respectful Most Wanted are being here at that Gold Fury pit, just because they've got the circle of protection from Clow, as well as they've got xCynosurex with that Fear No Evil. But just the worry of Truancii is just doing so much work for them.
Keegs is doing so much work too, but Most Wanted starting to do work on the Gold Fury. Here we go, looking for it. Koiz and xCynosurex starting it up. See Soul rotating over on the other side.
Great play, Clow.
3 members of eLevate are on the right side of the map. 4 members. There was nobody nearby. Do they even know?
They must know what's going on here, because Clow is just keeping them busy. That's all Clow wants to do. And that's also why you see Wolves rotate over. But Clow did so well of staying alive. Rippin Holes goes in. The rest of his team not on the same page again. Uses his uppercut, don't find anything. Gold Fury for free, the way of Most Wanted. That actually gives them a small lead for now.
Just a little bit, checking it out, dipping the graphs back in their favor. 900, almost 1,000 experience.
That was Cloud baiting. Now, we always say Cloud
Yes.
dies a lot, right? And that's what he did. He saw on the right-hand side, contested a set of Harpies on his own, and eLevate weren't sure where the boys of Most Wanted were. They didn't expect Cloud to be there solo, though, like he was, and then they made it work.
And they're going to try to make them punish for it. Jumpahhh going to get zoned out by the Fear No Evil. Meanwhile, Truancii getting aggressed upon by 2. Conviction going to heal up xCynosurex, but not Truancii. However, Jumpahhh coming in with a nice knockup, and Truancii over on the side, able to get out.
Vulcan ult, though, will only hit there on to the support player, Koiz, but he'll get away anyway, as he is on that Guan Yu. Left Harpy's going to go the way of eLevate. Rippin Holes going back in again for a second here with the Vulcan toying support, but Wolves is strong enough to tank that up.
Yeah, not going to be able to take him out quite yet, especially with Rippin Holes by himself, but the rest of the team is now behind him, wanting to put pressure onto this tier 1 tower. All they got to do is sneeze on it.
Yeah, that was a messy fight coming out from Most Wanted. They tried to force something even more, knowing that they won the last engagement there, but now eLevate get the tier 1 tower. May have overstayed their welcome a little bit here. Rippin Holes, though, will be able to escape to the left-hand side where the team are doing the red buff.
I don't know, they don't seem too uncomfortable right now taking that damage camp, especially with the rotations coming through. Jumpahhh going to be able to help take that successfully for the blue.
It's just not clean from either team right now. I would like to see Most Wanted abuse their lead a little bit more. Sorry, eLevate abuse their lead a little bit more with finding these picks, but instead it's just like a big old fight fest the whole time here between both teams.
It's just really scattered. They need to know who they want to go on for this first pick. If they want to go on Transonics, okay, cool. Invest everything to go on to one person, but instead it's just scattered. They're waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for that right kill, but the tier 1 tower is down. Jumpahhh forced out of the purification. Koiz charging in all gallant-like, not going to be able to find anybody. Supernova already been spent, and Jumpahhh able to dash away.
But meanwhile, everyone going to reset from eLevate. Niqued was rotating around on the tier as well, and you saw xCynosurex return to base after getting the tier 1 tower on the right-hand side there. So it's it's 2 towers in favor of eLevate, 1 tower in favor of Most Wanted on that right-hand side there between these 2 teams. And the best thing is, I was saying, you know, like these have been sporadic fights, have been a bit crazy. That kind of plays into eLevate's favor here. Their 5v5 team fight isn't as strong as Most Wanted's, so making sure Most Wanted is split and having to take weird skirmishes all the time is actually playing into their favor.
I mean, play with your strengths for 5 to 3 right now. 19 minutes, 45 seconds. Nice speed camp secure coming out from the boys in blue, but the Fear No Evil coming out. xCynosurex going to be able to take out Truancii, the Lawbringer over the speed camp, looking for the wall. xCynosurex going to get rooted out, trying to find KeegsMate, but there goes the Sanctuary.
They invest a lot of healing though into xCynosurex to keep him alive, but he's still probably going to fall down here. Cloud though picks up KeegsMate, and still xCynosurex is alive. Not for long though. Niqued gets credit with the power cleave though, and the fight continues with Rippin Holes here.
Yeah, but it's a 3v2. Rippin Holes not going to be able to deal out as much damage, and Niqued, while he is tanky, he's there for setup, he's there for CC. He's not going to be able to take down Wolves by himself.
And the difference was Most Wanted grouped up a lot quicker there. They realized this is the mid game now. We have the power spike, we have the team comp to take a 5-on-5 fight, and we will win the 5-on-5 fight as well.
And they're looking for it. Koiz canceling the ultimate early on, instead looking to everybody pinch onto Niqued, but he manages to get out. Most Wanted backing off in a very clean disengage.
I mean, he's tier after all. He's got the defensive boots online, full defensive build coming out from Niqued on tier as well. Very hard to pin down, and the sustain from power cleave is just too much to handle. He can stand on the front line for a very long time, and worst case scenario, use Lawbringer to disengage.
Exactly, but he used it to come in, wanted to get aggressive, but still manages to get out. He has the mobility. While it's not necessarily as good as, say, Susano, he doesn't have to worry because he's on the same team.
It's more sustain. One has more mobility, the other one has a lot more sustain in that kit. And setup potential as well. Those juggles really do come in handy. Second goal fury, though, is where I'm looking at now, especially with the gold. So the game's still pretty even between the 2.
Yep, looking at the graphs, you can just see the up and down. Both teams do not want to let this go. They don't want to let these fights get out of control, and instead we're going to see a little bit of a lead for Most Wanted across the board. But like I said, it's just a foothold. Like you said, it's not enough for Snowball yet.
No, not just yet. And I do like how he's gone in the Hunter role as well. Transonics needs to step up. I don't really like his soul. Like, I love Transonics as a player. I think he's one of the best native Xbox players, probably the best Hunter that's native to the Xbox. But I just don't really feel his soul is that strong. He looks so much better on Freya, on Kronos, you know? The likes of a hard carry. Not these mages that sit back a little bit like Sol does and just stellar burst for days.
And we saw some really nice Kronos plays earlier on. You definitely see just how devastating he can be. But we should have some devastation here in a little bit. The Gold Fury is back. We're 22 minutes in. and they want blood.
Yeah, both teleports being up for solo lanes as well means that we will have those rotations that can force people into awkward positions around this Gold Fury now. Difference is, though, I said it, Most Wanted's composition is designed for a Gold Fury fight. 5-on-5s is where they're going to be the strongest.
Rippin Holes finding the uppercut onto Matt. Koiz forcing out the ultimate. xCynosurex looking for the Fear No Evil as well. Already forcing out Truancii. Gonna get a good bit of damage jumping behind him, but the backfire gonna get the monkey back in his sights.
xCynosurex did a good job of baiting for his team there, and now they actually challenge him into an awkward path. But Niqued back in this fight, gonna force the damage dealers back a little bit.
And Matt Koiz can't get out because he already used his ultimate. He already used his ultimate to engage, so now Jumpahhh gonna get a really nice stun coming through. He's looking so low, trying to dash away Transonics, waiting for the right opportunity, but the root coming out from the other side, absolutely fantastic.
Shout out to Clow on that one, keeping xCynosurex alive, and now Niqued, he can't take on an army on his own. He's gonna stand as long as he can, still escaping back with the meditate coming through. Vulcan up from downtown, not gonna connect today.
Instead, Most Wanted back off. They don't want to get any of that damage. It would be very bad, but Transonics in a really bad spot, forcing out the Sanctuary. Mystic Rush over the Gold Fury, but Transonics is going to fall. Keegs getting credit for the kill.
And this is just awkward for Most Wanted now as well. We saw eLevate engage and Most Wanted turned it on his head, but they went too deep. They didn't stay as a unit, and it allowed eLevate to take a skirmish battle. That's what eLevate want. They want skirmish battles where they're on the run, aggressing and defensively positioning as well. Now, though, this is a bit risky going for this gold.
Just a little bit. Rippin Holes already taking too much damage. He can't be on the forefront anymore. xCynosurex jumping over, looking for the Kumbhakarna. The Fear No Evil has been spent, and there goes the passive, looking for those hits. Meanwhile, chasing off the rest of the team.
I love the fact Wolves is still trying to get the kill. xCynosurex does fall down. Wolves will pick him up and get away again, but now being pulled back in. Awkward position for Wolves to be in now. Big fight for eLevate one more time. This is giving him a decent lead, and the Gold Fury, because there's 4 members of Most Wanted are dead. Great play from eLevate again. They make the fight sporadic. They don't have it a grouped up fight, and they play around the ultimates Most Wanted have.
And all of these fights have stemmed off of taking out Transonics early. Every time I look over at the Gold Fury, when anybody's aggressing, it's because Transonics is dead.
Or xCynosurex. I mean, both of these two have been the main focal points that eLevate have worked on here. xCynosurex, for me, once again, he plays very aggressive to xCynosurex, but sometimes it can come back to haunt him, and the comp that eLevate are running here is all about getting themselves out of an engagement and re-aggressing again.
And the biggest thing for Most Wanted, since we're talking about xCynosurex, he doesn't leave a way for him to get out. The only thing he leaves open is the teleport if he wants to go to the monkey, but for the most part, he jumps in to aggress. He wants to jump in, he wants to throw down the CC, and he wants to bring the pain, and he's hoping that nobody's left to try and chase him down.
I think the thing with xCynosurex, though, is that he doesn't necessarily take into account where his damage dealers are sometimes. As in, is anybody on my damage dealers that are stopping them from joining me? Because he gets like that red light in his eyes, and he's like, okay, we're going ham. I'll use my Summon Assault to slow knowing my damage dealers are coming, and the damage dealers don't arrive, then he's got no way of escaping, and he falls.
And it's okay. It's okay when Rippin Holes does it, because he's a Kumbhakarna. He's going to be able to sustain. He jumps in, he uses the ult, and then the rest of the team comes in. But with xCynosurex, it can't work that way.
I mean, it can, but you've got to build tankier to make that happen, as well as be a Guardian, if that really helps a little bit more too. Kumbhakarna at level 14 here. He's not a bad game, Rippin Holes. It shows that eLevate have something to work on communication now, because I see ultimates being used without any synergy really being thought about it before. And if they would have been used synergistically, it would have really come in handy to secure more kills.
And hopefully, you know, when rosters lock and we have these teams that stick together, they want to go through the rest of the split together, we're going to start seeing a little bit more of that synergy. But for right now, it's just a little messy.
Yeah, oh, the whole attention of this game is now moved from Gold Fury to now Fire Giant. We're 25 minutes in, so the Fire Giant dance will now happen between the two, and this is where it's going to be important as well, because if they leave those 2 hunters in that left-hand lane, and the way Keegs has been playing this, he's been stomping all over Transonics. I say that, but look what's happened.
It's the caster's curse. I told Aggro, I'll tell you here now, but Keegs popping the Sanctuary to avoid the damage from the Supernova.
He's got a rotation coming as well from Jumpahhh now, who is now behind Transonics, but he's not going to rotate in, he's going to play it safe, because I think he thinks Most Wanted were coming, and they were.
They were, and I mean, they took the tier 1 tower, but KeegsMate is still alive.
Oh,
xCynosurex looking for it, gonna find the teleport, and then KeegsMate gonna fall to the Fear No Evil. Even though that ultimate is spent, they get the kill.
Oh, good pick up with the kill from Rippin Holes now, making sure the monkey doesn't get out. Cost him his ultimate for it though, and now they can look towards Clow. Clow forced to the backside, and Niqued not having any of that. Got a Lawbringer onto his face and juggling him up in the sky.
But
Throwback
the beautiful
comes out as well.
The stun, fantastic. Rippin Holes still gonna find Clow, but it bought him so much time. The Vulcan ultimate over the wall. only going to hit Matt Koiz, and right now it doesn't hurt him too bad.
eLevate looking really good here. You can see Transonics got into the jungle on the right-hand side there. He's full health and mana, but he doesn't want to get involved in the fight. They're still chasing for kills, though, eLevate, when they could be looking for some sort of objective. Mid-harpies push out the mid lane. Fire Giant. I say that, but that looks like where they're going now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they heard you. They're looking for it now,
Seems so,
but
yeah.
starting to rotate. But Wolves, level 20. Niqued, level 20. We're getting to that point where the experience lead isn't going to matter. It's going to come down to gold, and right now, eLevate don't have that big of a lead.
Well, the experience, if you actually look at it on the two teams there, the only difference is actually Guan Yu versus Kumbhakarna. The rest are all even. So it's just the supports, and there's 2-level disparity between supports is fine either way. If you're 2 levels down, that's fine. When it gets 3 or more is when you're worried as a Guardian or as just a general support player in general, if you're more than 2 levels behind your opponent.
I mean, we might get to the level where it's just bare bones Smite. We have the items already set up. Everybody's the same level, and then it just comes down to how you play and the positioning.
This for me is whoever gets the next Fire Giant. Unless the Fire Giant fight, goes to one team and the other team wipes them for doing the Fire Giant.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see the team that doesn't get it of winning this game. Fire Giant is the be-all and end-all of this one already. I can see it happening.
And we saw it last week with a couple of teams. They weren't able to really clinch a lead. One team got a Fire Giant, they wiped the other team, and then took the lead. It's just those big plays that are separating themselves from taking the win.
I just think most ones haven't realized what the biggest issue has been this game, and that's actually staying as a group. They've engaged well, they've had good fights, but they're not staying as a group. They're splitting and allowing eLevate to play them into the game they want.
And as you say that, I'm looking, everybody's scattered. The only 2 people that are together are xCynosurex and Clow. And I mean, it's good, get that peel, but for the most part, you don't need it at this point. You need to group up, take these fights, and take these objectives. Put the priority where it matters now.
Surprised both the Hunters are still on the left-hand side. Transonics now making the rotation to mid, though, as Keegs goes back to defend left. This is an opportunity for Most Wanted to go aggressive, knowing that Keegs is over there. He just showed his face, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that just yet.
And it's still going to be hard to figure out who's going to win these big team fights because we haven't factored in the ADCs. Now that they're leaving the left lane, joining the fight, it's going to be so much more damage.
Yeah, it's a big difference, though, this time around. Obviously, you got a full penetration-heavy build coming out from Neith here, and Sol, magical version of a Hunter here. So Polynomicon, really the biggest focal point there. He's working on Rudder Tahuti as well now. Transonics will hit a power spike based off that one going on, but the chins and the attack speed coming out from Neith will make an impact in this fight if he can stay at the back and continue what he's been doing all game.
Clow finding a good silence into stun, but it's not going to be enough. Rippin Holes still going to use that ultimate, sparking the giant fight. Jumpahhh, it's releasing the Typhoon, and nobody was there.
Truancii's really worried about throwing that ultimate onto the Kumbhakarna ult, and I guess they're worried about the timing and the execution of that wombo combo from those 2 ultimates. However, that Koiz a little bit too early with that cavalry charge, and now that's wasted.
Grasping at straws, trying to find these kills, and instead it may not work out for him. Rippin Holes waiting to come back into the fight. Niqued in the middle of it, but now we have Jumpahhh here looking for the pulls as well. The sights have kind of turned. That's the Mystic Rush coming out from Wolves. He was looking for Truancii, but now he has no escape. The root's going to be good, and that sparked out the Sanctuary.
Well, that was a 4v1 versus a 4v1 there, because both the Warriors, both the solo lanes go aggressive. But xCynosurex going deep again, looking for a kill. Not going to find it. Instead, he's going to get the crap kicked out of him in the jungle now, and the monkey needs support, gets it from Clow.
Well, at least that jump when he engaged is now back, able to disengage with it. eLevate able to just try to group back up and find somebody, but Wolves going to be able to separate out. Niqued, the Fearless, not going to connect, and instead Holes looking to try and stun him out, but instead going to get stunned himself.
Fear No Evil comes out from xCynosurex, pressure onto Jumpahhh, and Jumpahhh is dead. However, xCynosurex goes down to Keegs in trade. Rippin Holes very low, but going to get the groggy strike off to try and root them. Has to run away because in comes Koiz, and Koiz will find the passive of the sleepy time. Meanwhile, on the left, you can see Niqued trying to stay alive, but he's going to fall to Clow as well.
Clow gonna find the kill, but now Clow may get killed himself. The rest of the team is still low, but Truancii, if he can find a good magma bomb instead, using the backfire to get a little bit of damage. Keegs taking the spirit ball to the face.
Now we call that Guan Yu.
Yes.
That's all that is. We call that conviction and Guan Yu that actually allowed Most Wanted to continue those fights over and over again. The sustain that came out from him in that engagement, longer the engagement goes on, the longer you can keep sustaining back up, the more you'll win, especially with eLevate not back in there. You can see the healing on the right-hand side there. 20,000 player damage. When you compare that to the player damage on the graphs, it soaks up basically everything that Tyr has done this game. Or, if you want to do it a different way, it soaks up everything that Susano and Kumbhakarna have done together.
And that's nasty. Sustain is the name of the game. That's why people ban out Terra. If you ban out Terra, you don't want to give somebody Guan Yu either, because that conviction's going to keep people in the game. And it's so one-sided when it comes to a team that doesn't have any kind of heal coming out like eLevate.
And it's not just that either, but Clow on this circular protection, he's been using that heal very well just to keep his teammates alive, not for damage that you see a lot of the time, or to protect himself, because Clow's not been focused so much this game. xCynosure's been the one to draw the attention of eLevate.
Exactly. I mean, xCynosure's kind of been... He's setting the pace of the game as all junglers do, but it still seems kind of scattered. They're not going for one particular person.
Yeah, it's a very... I'm just so surprised at how messy these fights have become over and over again. It's not been like clean from either team. There's been a lot of twos and throws where I'm like, why are you going in again? Why are we still fighting this? Why are we not just regrouping and doing it again? And to bring it back to Truancii here with his ultimates, like worried about using it after Epic Uppercut has surprised me here, because that is a full-on combo that you can connect. They're just worried about the execution, it seems.
Worried about the relics as well, but gonna get stunned out, but not before he can get the Epic Uppercut through. Then the push coming out. Koiz gonna get taken out immediately. Keegs getting credit for the kill, and now Wolves forced over the wall with the Mystic Rush. He has no jump now, he has no ultimate, and the momentum coming out from eLevate, they're barreling down the lane.
This is really big for them though, because their front line is both dead on the side of Most Wanted, and that's why Niqued's going in here. He doesn't care, he's going to allow Jumpahhh to facilitate him in with Clow. Meanwhile, on the back, you can see that Wolves is trying to keep him busy, but he's only one man.
He's only one man, and he just got rooted out, still taking damage from 4 members of eLevate, and now Rippin Holes coming right back in, and then getting him pulled right back out of the tower. He comes right back in, but it's still not enough. Neith ultimate going to stop him for just a second, but there's still no securing.
They invest a lot into the kills here, eLevate, instead of the tower, so it takes a lot longer, but Clow step forward. The other 2 team members has used their relics as well as their escapes, and so him falling now continues this power play for another 50 seconds for eLevate.
Looking really nice for eLevate. Rippin Holes, epic uppercutting Wolves just to keep him out. He comes back in, and there goes everything. xCynosure taking out Niqued with the Fear No Evil, or at least the help too, but now he's just trying to get away.
Yeah, they're still trying to abuse the fight here, eLevate. Picking up Guan Yu was big for them. It made Most Wanted have to play defensive. They didn't have the sustain to continue the engagements. As well as we saw Wolves use his ultimate as well to get away from that fight, it meant that there was no front line on the side of Most Wanted. eLevate abused that by taking the tier 2 tower. If they would have focused the tower down before fighting, they could have got a Phoenix as well, because they invested so much in the tier 2. The respawns came through as well, and then it ended up being a wash, but Keegs is in trouble.
Name of the game is time, and Keegs may not have much left. Transonics disapparating into the fight. Koiz looking to try to pick one, but instead, gonna be a wash.
Would like to see Koiz go behind Keegs there. He actually could have gone for the backflip on the back way out, but Koiz turned to the left, and by doing that, he did a circle around himself, and Keegs knew he was going to be able to escape with a backflip. Otherwise, he could have been a bit more of a dangerous situation.
Rippin Holes taking out these fire imps, and still, they're sticking together. eLevate are at least in pairs. And then, I mean, we got Neith coming through. Keegs going to be heading over to this right side as well, because the Fire Giant's going to be a big point of contention.
Well, it's self-peel on the side of eLevate. That's what every single one of these has, is a lot of self-peel to get them in and out of fights. Can say the same, I guess, for the Most Wanted as well, but definitely a little bit more favoured to eLevate here with their squad here, especially when they combine just 2 of them. There's even more peel available.
Just a smidge, but eLevate didn't want to aggress on Most Wanted as they were taking out their own speed buff, instead looking more towards to bait the fight back into the Fire Giant. They're going to go ahead and start it, or at least throw a little bit of damage onto it, hitting it about 85% thus far.
Now Susano does have Wrath here, and there's no Wrath on the side of Most Wanted, so just keep an eye and see if Jumpahhh can get in and Wrath this one away. He needs to get in soon though, because Circle of Protection's down.
Circle of Protection is popped, and that's gonna be the eLevate. They started it and they wanted it, and now Truancii trying to get away before he loses this buff. Sanctuary is popped. The monkey has been used, but Transonics just used it. Cloud didn't even need it.
Yeah, and still the fight's going to rage on between the 2 now. Most Wanted are actually doing a good job of this fight, taking out 2 members, and 2 important members who had the Fire Giant buff here, and going to group up in the jungle. They could look for the tier 2 tower. They would have to backdoor it, but with Conviction available, Niqued saying no. Oh, Niqued may have butted him up for a bit too much though.
He had a really nice two-man push, but then he had no follow-up from eLevate, and then he got stuck in the middle of 5 members of Most Wanted. There's so much damage, and instead of getting frustrated because they didn't get that Fire Giant, they're just going to keep taking it out on eLevate.
Really lucky fight from eLevate there, that Fire Giant there. Obviously, Jumpahhh wasn't there for the Wrath. A little bit risky coming out from Most Wanted here, going for this Phoenix, but Niqued hasn't backed, so this actually plays into their favor.
And that was a huge match coming out from Rippin Holes. Jumpahhh Jumpahhh gonna be able to take out Clowwwwww in the backline. Niqued boxing with 2. The Phoenix is still going in Wolves, forcing to kick to try and avoid the damage. Here comes Batz again. Rippin Holes gonna take out Wolves before he even hits the ground. Jumpahhh erasing xCynosurex and then taking out Transonics as well.
This was a 3v5, I believe, and they all just died to 3 members of eLevate. It was a jungler, a tank, and a tank that just killed all 5 members of Most Wanted. That's game.
That is definitely something. There's an 8-kill deficit now. eLevate's sitting nice, pretty, and happy. Even though they only have 3 Fire Giant buffs, they have the momentum to keep going. And I feel like we've seen this before last week where it just came down to this one play. Neither team could really step forward, and then it was just this one wipe, this one thing. The timers, nobody's gonna be back for 10 seconds.
Most Wanted was just not on the same page this game. eLevate, though, credit to them with 3 members at their own Phoenix there. Yeah, they were trying to backdoor the Phoenix, but the problem is that they had to deal with 3 members who were generally just CC bots, and they stand strong, and now they're gonna get the Titan here. No one gonna respawn in time. I mean, Cloud's gonna do what he can, but I don't think he can stop this.
Now Vulcan gonna help out, and the Titan falls 20-12, 37 minutes in, and that's gonna be a huge win for eLevate.
Absolutely huge for eLevate, but Most Wanted, they're gonna be licking their wins. They will be very disappointed with how they played that game overall. Didn't utilize communication as a whole unit there whatsoever through the whole game.
And I mean, it showed. It showed in the team fights, and it showed in the lane phase too, when they were just trying to figure out where they wanted to rotate and where they wanted to go. But this does mean that, at least for Most Wanted, they have to win this game, or Eager is going to be a point above them.
We've got another round though, right?
Yeah, we do have another round.
Round 2?
Round 2, yes.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, for that first game, that's fantastic, though, from eLevate. I want to see them do that same sort of thing again. They played to their strategy of their composition. They did get baited a little bit by the Guan Yu sustain, though. So in picks and bans, maybe take away the Guan Yu, pick it for themselves if they want to.
I mean, there's no big...